right, Gospel Diaries, welcome to yet another episode. I am so excited. I always say that, but I really mean that. That's why I say it. I'm really excited to present to you this content from my heart. So if you would, please subscribe to the channel, share it, because it's from my heart to yours. Oh my God, let's pause for a moment. Okay, so our guest today, listen, he is a Chicago icon. When one will turn the pages of the choir history book, Pastor Reginald McCracken, his name stands out and bellows out. Hey, I'm here, because you have done some phenomenal work with the Fellowship Missionary Baptist Choir and so many others. So I'm so honored to have you here today. Welcome to Gospel Diaries.
I am honored to be with you, Eric. You are a great young man.
Thank you.
I've enjoyed all of your presentations, and so honored again to be a part of someone you would think enough to do this. To God be the glory, but thank you for your kindness.
Thank you. So we're going to delve into your Gospel Diaries. So my mind goes back to a song that hit the airways here in Chicago. Feel Like Pressing My Way. That was your rendition, but at that particular time, I didn't know that it was actually recorded in New York. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So I heard the song, fell in love with the song. At that particular time, I knew exactly what the song meant. You know, sometimes when you're young, you don't understand the lyrics of the song. I knew what that song meant. So I think that that's probably why, you know, it resonated with me so much at that particular time. And then I even think about, I remember, you know, listening, I don't think it was 1390, but it could have been 1390. Some function was going on, and they were interviewing people. I remember hearing, they said, and we have Pastor Reginald McCracken here. We're going to interview him. And when I heard your voice, I'm like, oh my God, there you go. And then it makes it better. You know, I finally got a chance. Matter of fact, I think how I got the CD was my dad, he didn't tell me that he was working with you. And one day, I think I seen the CD downstairs. I said, Daddy. And then, so I'm getting excited because this is really a true story. And then, so I took the CD and then I looked at it and said, Reverend Clay Evans present. I'm like, oh my God, now this is really interesting. So he's connected with Reverend Clay Evans. So that was my introduction to you. I'm like, wow, this man is really somebody. So I think that is a perfect segue, because we know that you have been instrumental at Fellowship, but that's not quite your childhood home church, is it?
No.
I believe it was Antioch, right?
Correct.
And you started at the 51st location, right? Before Stewart,
Well,
right?
I was at the 51st location, but I was a baby or a little kid, but I do remember it.
Okay.
I remember going down the stairs of that building and coming up the stairs to the choir stand with my grandmother and grandfather and my mother. So yeah, I remember it quite a bit. But I'm trying to figure out who you're interviewing. All these accolades that you've given. Is somebody else getting ready to walk in here?
Listen, it gets greater later, because I have had to do an extensive research on you, because I wanted to, you know, make sure that I did my homework, and I have looked at some footage of Fellowship. Oh, there was some iconic people at Antioch. Kenneth Morris was there at one point in time. Yes. A few others. So could you give us some of your experiences at Antioch?
I did not really get a chance to work with the great Charles Quincy, but Charles Quincy was there. He was the organist. It was also Kenneth Morris, who had Morris and
Martin and Morris
publishing company, and also Henry Fitzpatrick was one of the.
We cannot see through the dark cloud. We cannot see over high.
Greatest musicians that I know. So yeah, I got it. Lola Williams. Yeah. She was also organist there. And how can I ever forget Nathan Schaefer? He was also there.
Of faith. So tell me, how was it being at Antioch with Kenneth Morris, who is credited for introducing the Hammond organ to the African American church. So playing organ in the church alongside with someone that actually introduced it to the African American church.
I didn't realize, I just really did not know, because I guess I was too young to know, the greatness of Kenneth Morris and what he meant to gospel music across the country.
Fellowship of Baptist Church, even though it was the Fellowship Missionary Baptist Church, we just always act like a holiness church, just from beginning to end. That's the first time I ever heard somebody speak in tongues at Fellowship, and I thought it was a Chinese that had gotten happy because I didn't know anything about speaking in tongues. And they danced, and we didn't do that at Fellowship, at Antioch. And they clapped and rocked, and we didn't do that at Antioch either. We were a staunch Baptist church. But I got a chance after that to, when I did go to Fellowship, I got a chance to meet Mahalia Jackson,
Really?
Jesse Dixon, Reverend Milton Brunston, you name it, Shirley Caesar. I got a chance to meet all of these people because they came through the Fellowship Baptist Church. You know, Tremaine Hawkins, Walter Hawkins, Keith Pringle and me. Well, I really didn't meet Keith Pringle there or whatever. I actually met Keith Pringle at the workshop or whatever. But Reverend James Cleveland was my godfather. And Reverend Charles Nix, he took me on as his godson also. So I got a chance to meet so many wonderful people that it was more of a blessing to me being there than I was a blessing to them.
Wow. You share the origins of your directing, your music ministry.
From the beginning or when I started directing?
Let's start with directing. Okay.
Yeah. Good. Because I want to tell you when I put cards out and we used to play a record and do.
Oh, really?
That. Yeah, me and my brother.
Okay.
I basically, my mother started me off singing. And you heard of the Impressions?
The secular group? Yeah, absolutely.
Fred Cash and all Fred Cash and I can't think of the other guy's name who was the lead singer for them. My mother wanted me to sing for them. She was a friend of Judy Cash, and so they wanted me. I had to audition with the song, "My Baby Must Be a Magician, 'cause she sure got the magic touch." And I messed that thing up purposely. I did not want to sing secular music. I wanted to sing gospel music, and one of the deacons at Antioch said, "You know, there's no money in gospel music." I said, "Is that what people sing for money?" I was a kid. I didn't really know. It was just something that I wanted to do. And so when I went to Fellowship, I was basically in the tenor section and enjoyed myself singing. And they asked for youth choir directors for Youth Day. And I got up to direct for Youth Day, and I did a decent job. And so the next thing I know, I was president of the choir then. By that time, I had gone from vice president to president, and it just kind of jumped off from there.
So basically, you started directing at Fellowship.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So that's bleeding off into our next segment. So on that note, we're gonna take a little musical intermission, and we'll be right back, and we're gonna get the $1 million question answer. How did you get to Fellowship? Okay. And we'll be right back. All right, Gospel Diaries, we are back. I pray to God that you enjoyed that short intermission, that musical intermission. All right, okay. So we're back. So now for the $1 million question. What led you, how did you end up as a member at Fellowship.
Who's the young lady you just talked about a second ago that you were with last
Oh,
night?
For real? Felicia?
Felicia.
Oh,
It was her sister.
really?
It was her sister. Both of us went to Inglewood.
Okay.
And we used to talk about our choirs, and I used to tell her, because we had a 250 voice youth choir, and she said, "Well, our choir we ain't 250 voices, but we can out sing y'all." And I said, "No, you can't. Yes, you can. No, you can't either. It's impossible." So I had been listening to Fellowship. I would listen to the broadcast, and if I couldn't do anything else, I went to What a Fellowship in Lord's Prayer, and I'd go back out playing basketball. And so she said, "Well, you listen to our youth choir, because we're going to be doing the broadcast this Sunday." I said, "Okay, I'll listen to them." So they came on. I said, "That ain't no youth choir. That's the regular choir." Reverend York got up and said, "And the services this evening has been rendered by our youth choir," and my mouth dropped
Wow, okay.
open. I said, "Oh my God, they do sound better than us." And so then I went to my brother, Ronald, had been in a bike accident, and he was in Cook County Hospital. So I went there with my mother to visit him, and I asked my mother to drop me off at Fellowship because I want to go to the broadcast. And she said, "Oh, no, you're not going down there. Not going down there." I said, "Mom, what's wrong?" "No, it's dangerous down there, and I'm not dropping you off." And so I got silent, and I didn't say anything. And when we got near 45th Place in Princeton, she pulled up. She said, "Okay, go ahead and go." And so I went, and I got there. Of course, it was before the broadcast, and to see this huge choir finally take the choir stand. And remember, I told you I was at Antioch. We didn't do any rocking and clapping and all that kind of stuff. And so I had never seen a choir that big move back and forth, and I was simply amazed at them. So the next Sunday, I got up, and instead of going to Antioch as I was supposed to, I took the bus and went down to Fellowship. And it was Youth Day, and the youth choir was singing. And when them children got through, they had killed everything in the house. And when Reverend got up, I got up and joined the church.
That very day.
That very Sunday. And when I came back home and told my parents, they said, "You're not going back down there."
Wow.
So I was forbidden to go back, but I went back anyway.
And what year was this? Do you remember?
68. Other
You went
building
to
there.
You went to the old building?
I was in the old Fellowship building, not the brand new building. The building when I got there, as it stands now, the only thing was there was a steel. Daly at the time, senior, not the junior, said that if Pastor was to have King come, he would stop all of the financing and what have you for the church, and he did. He was able to do it for about 10 years. The steel just stood there. Yeah. Walker was not there when I got there.
Okay, so explain this location here.
That's 45th. That's actually 45th in Princeton.
That's the current location.
Nope.
Well, no,
that's actually
the building.
This is the building that's sat at 45th in Princeton. This actually sits on 46th Street, the new building. But this building sat at 45th in Princeton, and they just never changed the address. But this is the building that was actually on 45th and Princeton.
Okay, and can you show us that other photo that's in the book with the stairs?
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, can you explain this photo?
This is a photo that's in front of the building at 45th Place in Princeton. And again, I was not here. All of these, do you see all of these individuals? These are children now. They were teenagers when I came.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, all of us were teenagers together, but they're children here.
Any word on this officer? Was he a member?
Don't know who he is.
Anything else you can share in the book while we're here?
Let me see.
And this is the steel that
stood for 10 years because of what Daly had did and stopped the financing for the building. So It stood there for 10
Please don't
years.
tell me that's Reuben Lightfoot.
No.
Okay. But that is Justice Harrison.
No.
No, okay.
This is Griffin. I can't think of his first name right now. And this was Reverend Woods, one of the associate ministers.
Oh, wow.
Do you know San Franklin?
Yeah.
This is her father.
No way.
Yeah, that's Fran's. That's Fran, and what's my other girl's name? KK. That's their dad. That's who that is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. What did the music department look like? Who consist of, rather?
Ludella was minister of music. Reverend Billy Jones. He was just Billy Jones at the time.
Pastor Byron
Pastor
Jones.
Brian Jones' father.
Okay.
He was just Billy Jones at the time. Alfred Evans, Larry Reed, Dixon. I can't think of his first name right now, but Dixon was also there. There was a lady from First Church, and she was going back and forth between the two churches because she was kind of really torn. She loved fellowship, but she also loved First Deliverance. So she was kind of going back and forth between the two churches. So those were basically Alan Dixon. That's who it is.
Okay.
And of course, Roy Warren was on the organ. Stevie was on the organ. Ralph Evans also played. Michael Shaw. And I think that's it. And we didn't get drummers until later on. When I first got there were no drums at Fellowship.
Really?
They came
in
in
the
later.
60s.
Yeah,
Jesus.
the drums came near just before we went into the new church. Then the drums started coming in, and I can't. Cliff was one of the drummers.
What about
that had one? So whatever drummer came,
they brought
their own situation at that particular time. It wasn't where we had a set where the church had bought, and then after we started using them on a regular basis, then the church bought a drum set that was permanently there. But there wasn't if you go back and look at one of the old recordings of the choir, I think CBS or NBC or something, did a recording. Matter of fact, when you go, I'll probably show you, send that book. Mm-hmm. I got a book or something around here with that recording that they did. You will see there are no drums anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did they use tambourines when they did not?
Oh yeah,
okay.
No, that they had.
Okay.
That they
wow.
had. There's only two churches that I knew that had tambourines: it's Fellowship and Greater Harvest. Yeah, you know it had to be Harvest. Greater Harvest got a tambourine choir.
Jesus is my way, my rock.
They got tambourine choir for Harvest.
Wow. Well, listen, I'm having a blast with you, and it's so much more that we can tackle, but we want to save it for the next segment, and we'll be right back. Y'all, if you have not, please like and share, and say hello to the man, the legend, Mr. Pastor Reginald Earl McCracken.
When I need him. Hey! Yeah! Yeah! I can call
some fellowship stories. Would you please share some fellowship stories, including Mother York and all of the counterparts of, that make up fellowship that we have grown to love?
We had a deacon named Deacon Jones. Deacon Jones had to be about 6'7", bald as a cube, or as bald as I am right now. And that morning, we were already in the choir stand, and we were in the old church. And Deacon Jones came in the back with a full head of hair. And we saw him in the choir stand immediately, but we were not going to react because we did not want to be. We were a very disciplined choir. We really were.
Okay.
And we saw him when he came in immediately because he entered in the back door, and the whole choir we could see from front to back, and from front all the way to the front. And we were like, "Oh my God!" And every time he went down the aisle to come to his seat on the front row with the deacons, everybody would do this. And nobody would say a word. Mm-hmm. Finally, he sat down, and Reverend said, "Deacon Jones, we see you have some new hair this morning." And the whole church went up like a bonfire laughing. But we would not laugh until we got permission. And when he said that, we okay,
oh my God.
He's on it. We went in. We went in.
Wow.
And then there was one other time, still over in the old church. We were at the end of service. When the mother raised her hand, she said, "Pastor?" He said, "Yes, Mother so-and-so." She said, "Can I have a little something to say?" He said, "Yes, ma'am." She got up, straightened out her dress. "Lord, I'm running, trying to make 100, 99 and half won't do." And the church went completely in.
Really?
I had never seen anything like it before. We were at the end of service. Reverend and the deacons would always come in behind Reverend and out behind Reverend. Reverend went down the middle aisle, the deacons went behind them, and we were still in church having service, and she had just taken us down.
My God.
They went right back into another service, and I was disciplined and decorum. There were certain things that we were taught to do and certain things we were taught not to do. Mm-hmm. For example, if you came late and the rehearsal was going on, you stood at the steps of the choir stand. You did not walk into the choir stand until you were given permission.
Wow.
We don't care how long you had to stand there, you stood until that particular time. You didn't just walk in and out of the choir stand. You got permission to walk in and out of that choir stand at any given time. And you got someone's attention, whether it was emergency or not. That's what you did. It was the respect of what you showed, who was ever up and who was ever teaching. And that's what the Reverend was saying. He said, now, at 10 o'clock, you can leave or whatever. But don't get up in the middle of the broadcast because he's getting up. That's offensive.
Your choir,
the
True Voices of Christ Gospel Ensemble. First of all, thank you for not allowing that creativity, that idea to lie dormant, because that actually gave us as music enthusiasts an opportunity to get a more up close, personal experience with Pastor Reginald McCracken. So let's talk about the concept of your choir.
I never ever intended at any particular point to form a choir.
Okay.
Lucille Avery came to me and asked me to do something for a musical that the senior choir was having. And though I like to sing, I also like to direct. So I got some of the youth choir members together. I said, hey, let's sing this song. And I taught them, "Have I Given Anything Today?" And so we went, and they sound like this big mass choir. It was about maybe 15 or 16 of us. And after they finished, and people said, "Oh, y'all really sound good." Y'all really said, "We need to stay together. We need to stay together." I'm like, "Stay to who?" This was no. We need to stay together. We need to stay together. We need to sing. So I said, "Okay, all right, fine." I got called to the office, and Reverend said, "What's this I hear? You don't start a choir out of my choir." And I told him what happened, and we was just singing because, you know, we're youth and it's something we like to do. We have that energy. He said, "Okay, all right." He said, I only have one request. I said, "What is that, Pastor?" He said, "Never let it interfere with anything that is going on here, and you're fine." I said, "Pastor, you have my word."
Wow. Man, can we please pause for one moment in honor of the late Reverend Clay Evans? That was a mighty man. We honor the spirit of Reverend Clay Evans. All right, so now we're at the climax. We must talk about your iconic album featuring Feel Like Pressing My Way. Walk us through that process. Now, was everything recorded relatively close, or was it spanned out? How long did it take to actually get that project out to the public?
We did an album at Martin's Temple, Methodist Church, on 68th and Cottage Grove.
Okay.
And we had done the album, and we had put it out. And I was very critical of a lot of the gospel artists or whatever, because I said, you know what, they just want to be seen, they want to be heard. They're not really trying to have an anointing and this, that, and the other. They're just trying to just be out there. And the Lord said to me, and that's what you're trying to do. He said, you're just as guilty as they are. He said, and now that you've realized this fact and what you're just as bad as them, he said, go and finish the album that you all have already done. I want you to take this song off. I want you to take this song off. I want you to take this song off. And I want you to put this one on, and this one on. The songs that were put on were Pressing My Way, I Am Redeemed, and it's one other.
That's My King, not that one, is it?
No,
Okay.
That's My King was recorded at the time of the recording.
Okay.
So he told me to put on. And so we did that. And then we went to have it. We did all the work. Went in the studio. We did the mastering and all of that. And we sent it off to disc makers for them to do the hot master. They did that. And they sent it back, and we were pleased with it. And I was in the gym. Yeah, I used to go to the gym, and I still have one. Just ain't getting to it. But I was in the gym, and I got this call, and it was really weird because, you know, I had a cell phone, but this was a time when you wouldn't use cell phones like that. You know, you say, "Hello, okay, where you want me? All right, talk to you later, bye." Click, because you know his bill was high.
Yes.
And I got the call, and they said, they're playing they're playing our recording on 1390, and they're playing it like consistently. I'm like, who's playing it? Or whatever. So when I finally got home, I had this recording on my service, and it was Michael McAllister, I think. Oh, wow. Jackie Hasselrod had called him, and she had heard about the album, but she heard about it because one of the guards, who was a member of Fellowship, took it up to her because he was one of the guards in the building that 1390 was in. He took it up to her, and she called the church to confirm that Reverend was really behind it, and she blew it up.
but however the case may be, you are pastoring.
And they're getting ready to end.
Yeah. They are?
Yes.
Oh, really?
June the 28th will be my last weekend pastoring. We're going to have a banquet on the 28th. I'm going to have a big musical on the 29th. And then I'm going to have a friends and family thing where everybody comes out and they can say what they want to say on the 30th, which is the next day. And that's going to be my last day pastoring the church.
And just in case this video get out of sync, this year is 2023.
That's correct.
And what month was that again?
July.
July. Okay. So when did you open the church?
It was open June 9th, 2002.
Okay. And last but not least, what year did you organize your choir?
I don't even remember.
Was
I just
it
know
late
it's
70s?
50s. The choir should be 52, 53 this year, somewhere in there. 53, 54. It's
So it has to be
up
like
there.
late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, I don't date the choir. Like people ask me how old I am, I don't date me either.
Yeah. Well, you were very good. Write you a letter. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
just
it
you
is.
really can't beat that.
Yeah,
honestly.
I mean it's now it's texting, but when I get texts from certain people in my inbox and messenger from Facebook, I'm like astonished.
Yeah.
For example, Charles Quincy texts me a little bit back, and I just lit up. You know, it's the little things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Albertina Walker, I was going to church one Sunday morning and this big yellow Cadillac was blowing at me or whatever. And I'm like, who in the world is blowing at me? And I looked over, the Queen of Gospel, and
Oh
she
my
knows who
Lord.
I am. Oh my God. Hey, Miss Tina! You know, it's when it's things like that, it just kind of, it does a lot for you. And now those are known people. It's even really great when somebody who does not know you, who has never met you, comes in my inbox and says, you don't know me, but I'd like to tell you, you inspired me to do such and such and such. It means such a great deal because, you know, when the Bible says, and their works do follow them, that's what the works are, that you've inspired somebody to be a better person or to do something great that they want to do or whatever. That means a lot to me.
And you know what, Pastor? I will be remiss if I do not. I have to hit this. You all actually, your choir backed up Inez Andrews on a recording, right?
Yes.
Let's talk about that. We have to share this.
Inez Andrews became a friend of mine's. It was really weird because they were looking for a choir to back her up on her album.
Just for me, I
And
believe.
just for me.
Okay.
And it was between Redeeming and my choir. Even some, because that's where Inez was a member at that particular time. She was at Redeeming. And so some of them sang with us, but they said no. Whoever did it didn't, for some reason, didn't want Redeemer's Choir, or Redeemer's Choir couldn't do it. And so they came to me and they asked me would I do it. And I told them, oh my God, yes, I'd be honored to. And her, you know, Dorothy Norwood, we're good friends, and I've done things behind her, and Albertina and Inez. So I directed behind Shirley, but Pastor Caesar, but she doesn't know me like they did. You know, they knew who I was, and that just thrilled me that they knew who I was. Pastor Caesar, you know, she's always been gracious and whatever, because we did the Stella Awards with her. Yeah, Inez's album, I remember when I came in, she said, I want you to pray for me before we went on. And she came in and we did Just For Me. It was years ago, but it was magnificent. And the only regret that I have in that is the guy that did it, Milton Bingham. He was supposed to send me the video. He had the video of it, and he never sent me the video. And I'm sure if I got in touch with him now, he wouldn't know what the video was. But he said, yeah, I got the video of when you all did Just For Me, did that behind it. And I said, I would love to have that if you could send it.
Well. This is Gospel Diaries, and this is not your orthodox or typical type of digital show. So we're going to end on that note. We're going to show you and you a video of your choir backing up the awesome, lovely Inez Andrews. And on that note, as I always say, love on someone and change your life. Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Love you so much. All right.